It starts quietly, almost unnoticed. You're 7 years old, gazing into the eyes of a parent falling apart. Maybe it's addiction. Maybe it's anger. Maybe it's the hollow silence of someone too broken to show up. And without a word, something clicks inside your young mind. If I don't hold everything together, no one will. At this moment, you take on the world's weight on your shoulders, without anyone telling you that you're not meant to carry it alone. This is how a child disappears, not physically, but emotionally. They smile more, cry less. They learn to read the room before they speak. They become the emotional anchor of the household. They grow up too fast, long before they're ready, and the world praises them for it. You're so mature for your age. You're so responsible. You're so strong. But no one asks, at what cost? You wear the mask of strength so well, but inside, you're quietly asking, why did no one protect me? This is the invisible grief of children who grew up too fast. And it doesn't fade with time. It follows you into relationships, careers, and your sense of self. If you don't understand what happened, you'll keep repeating the survival patterns that once saved you, but now they're holding you back. What if the survival strategies that once kept you safe are now the chains that bind you? Let's begin with the truth behind what happened: parentification. When children emotionally support adults instead of being supported by them, it changes everything. It rewires the brain. When a child becomes the caregiver, the peacekeeper, the protector, it creates hypervigilance. They are constantly scanning for danger. They walk on eggshells. They learn that love is a transaction. You give peace, and maybe you'll get safety in return. They learn to put their needs last because others' needs are urgent. They disappear, not physically, but emotionally. In their place, they become the good child, the quiet achiever, the friend who always listens, never asking for anything. They wear this identity so convincingly that even they forget it's just a mask. But deep down, something aches. The child they buried didn't die. They're still there, silently screaming, "Why didn't anyone protect me?" Can you hear that voice? The child inside you still crying out for someone to see them. As they grow, the symptoms evolve. They may become hyper-independent, refusing help, pushing people away, never feeling truly safe in love. They may feel numb during happy moments because joy feels unfamiliar, unearned, even dangerous. They might struggle to relax because productivity is the only time they feel worthy. Worst of all, they may not even realize they're stuck in survival mode. When dysfunction is normalized early on, chaos becomes the baseline. Stillness feels wrong. Peace feels suspicious. Love feels like a debt. Have you noticed that the peace you crave feels wrong? That love feels like something you need to earn. This is the deep psychological impact of being forced to grow up too quickly. It's not just sadness, it's complex trauma that reshapes how you view yourself and the world around you. But why would a child willingly take on this heavy role? Because children will do anything for attachment, even abandon themselves. It's not conscious, it's biological. In the absence of safety, a child sacrifices authenticity for belonging. It's not weakness, it's survival, it's instinct. But the tragedy is this: what saved you then imprisons you now. What part of you is still sacrificing yourself to feel loved? What pieces of yourself are you still abandoning for belonging? So many of us are high-functioning adults, but inside, we're carrying neglected inner children. We overachieve to earn love. We stay silent to avoid abandonment. We care for everyone but secretly wish someone would ask if we're okay. And that fantasy, that someone will finally notice you're not as strong as you seem, lives in all of us. What if the adult you're pretending to be isn't truly you? What if the child inside is begging to be seen? Healing begins with witnessing, not fixing anything, but acknowledging what happened. You might say, "It wasn't that bad. Others had it worse. I turned out fine." But fine is just another mask. Healing begins when you stop telling yourself, "It wasn't that bad." It's time to face the truth. What happens to that child when they grow up? They become adults who never feel safe, even in peaceful rooms. They become lovers who can't trust softness. They become givers who can't receive. They become people who apologize for crying, flinch at compliments, and confuse exhaustion with success. This is the cost of growing up too fast. When your childhood trained you to be strong at the cost of being soft, what kind of adulthood do you inherit? What does your adulthood look like when your childhood told you to be strong at the expense of your vulnerability? You inherit a life where you're always holding your breath, waiting for someone to give you permission to fall apart. But here's the truth. No one is coming to rescue the child you buried. You are the one who must go back and hold their hand. You must say what no one else ever said. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You get to rest now. The only person who can heal the child inside you is you. And it starts by giving yourself permission to rest. This is where shadow work begins. Not fixing, not performing, not pretending everything is fine, but turning toward the abandoned parts of yourself and saying, I see you now. I hear you now. And I'm not leaving. The healing process is brutal because it requires feeling the grief you never had time to feel. It asks you to sit with the rage, sorrow, and unmet needs. It asks you to mourn the innocence you lost while protecting others. But that grief is not weakness. It's proof that you're healing. The pain you're feeling is proof that you're finally allowing yourself to heal. Don't turn away from it. Embrace it. Now, let's talk about how these survival patterns show up in adulthood, subtly, tragically, and often invisibly. You might become the therapist in all your friendships, but never let anyone truly see you. You might be praised for your independence while secretly fearing that you're a burden. You might end up in relationships where you're always fixing, managing, over-explaining, and wondering why you feel resentful. You might struggle with boundaries because saying no feels like betrayal. Are these traits truly who you are? Or are they the survival strategies you learned to protect yourself? One of the most powerful things you can do is ask your inner child, what did I need back then that I never got? You might hear answers like, I needed someone to tell me it wasn't my fault. I needed someone to ask how I was doing. I needed to play rest and laugh without fear. And slowly, very slowly, you begin to give those things to yourself, not to fix your past, but to stop reliving it. The healing journey starts by giving yourself what you never received, a loving, compassionate presence. Carl Jung once said, there is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. But shadow work demands that we face it, all of it. The neglected, the ashamed, the scared, the angry. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you were before the world told you who to be. True healing begins when you stop running from your past and face your true self. So, if you grew up too fast, know this: your maturity was never the problem. The problem was that you had no choice. But now you do. You can choose softness. You can choose to rest. You can choose to stop managing everyone else's emotions and start honoring your own. And no, it won't happen overnight. But when you do, you'll begin to rewrite your future. This is your chance to finally stop surviving and start thriving on your terms.